ESL 106, we're back. I just want to talk with you for a few minutes about the article you're looking at this week. It's the longer article in Unit 2, Drug Discovery in the 21st Century. It's not easy. It's a tough article, and I'm asking you to read it, get the main ideas. You may not understand all the details. I'm not sure I understand all the details of how laboratories figure out which drugs are good candidates for the pipeline. I want you to read this and try to outline it based on main ideas and keywords. So here, I just want to help you a little bit as you get started, and maybe you've got some other ideas that you can contribute as well. So taking a look, let's see, I'll pull up this slide right here, page 135 in your book. And of course, we're asking each other, so what is this article about in general? And what are some synonyms that are used throughout the article that talk about drugs? So when I look at the title, I see that the topic of this article is definitely drug discovery. This is talking about all the different drug discoveries that have been made, and especially currently, how they're doing it in the laboratories. Drug discovery in the 21st century. As I look at the synonyms for the word drugs, I look throughout the article and I see some of these words are being used, right? I might find words like medicine or medication. I don't find this a lot in the article, but I know this is what they're talking about as they talk about laboratories that are looking for ways to create new medicines, new drugs, new medications. Talking about pharmaceuticals, pharmacies, right? Chemists that are looking for new medications. And they talk a lot about chemicals and compounds. And all of this is ways of trying to get at new drugs, new medications for new diseases. With this in mind, what would you say is the main idea of this article? Where did you look? So one good place to look is always in those first few paragraphs, right? And we see that in the first section of the article, we really get some introductory information, right? What is drug discovery? What are they talking about? How do they define it? And paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 are very general introductory paragraphs. It's really at the end of paragraph 1 that I get the main idea. Let's see if you agree with me. I highlighted this sentence in paragraph 1. The path to drug discovery is perilous, unpredictable, and extremely expensive. So these are three sort of negative, at least difficult things about drug discovery. And I highlighted that. I think this is the author's claim, that drug discovery is really difficult, it's risky, it's perilous, unpredictable, expensive. You never know how it's going to turn out. And then when I went all the way to the conclusion, I saw this in paragraph 15. In many respects, drug discovery process is a gamble for pharmaceutical companies. And so I see there this idea of the risk involved. This, if I say this is the main position of the writer, the rest of the article is really used to support this position, to show us the ways that drug discovery is difficult, challenging, risky, expensive. If I look at the end of the article, on page 142, they give me this graphic organizer, and I thought this was helpful. So, of course, on page 141, they give you some main ideas. They give you some, it's actually page 140, sorry. They give you questions that you have to answer. And I'm going to ask you some of those same questions about the main ideas of different paragraphs. In a closer look, they ask you about some of the details. But here on page 142, they talk about the graphic organizer. And here's one graphic organizer that shows this article in a really nice way. It shows here, I'll just get my pen going. It shows here how there are 4 different designs or approaches to finding drugs, and then all of them lead to something that leads to something else on until we finally get to a successful drug discovery, right? And so if I ask, what text organization does this graphic organizer show? This is a really nice summary of the whole article. What kind of organization is this showing? I would say this is really process. This is a graphic organizer that shows me the idea of process. Let's see if I can get this to work. Anyway, as I filled this out, I put things like the hits, the leads, and the candidates. And I got those 3 words out of paragraph 15. It's really towards the end of the article that they talk about this pipeline. I see in paragraph 13, 14, and 15 this summary of the pipeline. That the 4 approaches that came in section 2 all lead to the hits, the leads, the candidates, and then the drugs. And I would call this all the process. They're in some way showing cause and effect, or step by step, the next step, the following step. I called it process because I was really seeing the steps involved in drug discovery. The next question that they ask us is, what about section 2? How would you describe the text organization in section 2 of this paragraph? Would you choose A, B, C, D, or E? Which one describes section 2 if we're thinking about text organization? So I would call section 2 classification. It really is showing different approaches, different methods, different ways that researchers get started as they're looking to discover new drugs, right? And we find out as we look in the first paragraph of section 2 that there are 4 different approaches to drug discovery. And they give us these 4 different approaches, models, designs throughout that section. Each one is a subtopic. Each one has its own explanation, right? Its own examples. And that's the way this section 2 gets organized, in this classification way. So guys, what you have to do is, using these ideas, make your own outline of this article. So it's an article with 15 paragraphs. It only has 3 sections. How would you outline each section? You need a few words for each paragraph, okay? And that's what I'm going to ask for when you open up the skill assignment for skill 6. Try to think about how this information is connecting back to that main idea that we talked about, which is about the difficulty the risks, the expense involved in drug discovery. I'm going to ask you to write your own main idea for this article. So I want you to write the main idea in your own words. In other words, use the main idea that we just talked about, but explain it in your own words, right? Restate it. Make it a good sentence about this article, Drug Discovery in the 21st Century. And when you're finished with this assignment, writing the main idea sentence, writing the outline, I'm going to ask you to respond to this article. Let's see, I wanted to go here. Sorry, guys, in discussion board. I have a couple questions for you to look at. And the questions are about making a profit from drug discovery. I want you to respond with your own opinion. After reading about the development of new drugs, do you think companies should be able to make a profit from a drug discovery like COVID-19 vaccine, as an example? Give a reason for your position. Do you agree it's a good idea for drug companies to make profits? Do you disagree? No, there should be no profit made. Give us a reason. And then I would like for you to respond to at least one of your classmates. Take a look at what other classmates have said, if they agree or they disagree, their reasons, and then give a response. You agree, it was a good reason, or you have a further question to clarify their reason. All of that is good. Good work, guys. See what you can do with this article, and I'll look forward to reading your responses.